Okay, let's get right to it. Novak Djokovic has won more Grand Slams than anyone, more time at world number one, more Masters 1,000 titles, a winning record against both Federer and Nadal. So tell me, why do so many fans still refuse to call him the GOAT? Why is there always a but after his name? It's wild, right? You look at the numbers and it seems obvious. Like, Djokovic didn't just compete with Federer and Nadal, he beat them, he outlasted them, he rewrote the record books in an era that was already considered the greatest, and yet he walks into some stadiums and gets booed, he wins slams and people argue instead of celebrate. He raises trophies and the internet splits in two. No other player in tennis history, not Federer, not Nadal, not Serena, not Sampras, has had to win this much just to be taken seriously, and that's what this video is really about. Yes, we're gonna talk records, but also reputation. Yes, we'll talk rivalries, but also resentment. Because Novak Djokovic didn't just win titles, like, he disrupted tennis history. He broke up the golden love story between fans and their idols, and for some people, that's something they still haven't forgiven. Let's back up for a second, because to really understand this debate, we need to lay the foundation. Novak Djokovic has 24 Grand Slam titles. That's more than Nadal's 22, more than Federer's 20. And it's not just quantity, it's distribution. He's the only man ever to win each slam at least 3 times, that's right. The only one with a triple career Grand Slam. 10 Australian Opens, 7 Wimbledons, 4 US Opens, 3 French Opens. And don't forget, he once held all 4 majors at once across 3 different surfaces. That wasn't even in a calendar year, it was harder. They called it the Knoll Slam. Let's keep going. He's held the world #1 ranking for 428 weeks. That's over 8 years at the top. Federer had 310, Nadal had 209, Djokovic, he's lapped them. He's also got 40 Masters, 1,000 titles, 8 year-end #1 finishes, a career Golden Masters, winning all 9 Masters events twice. Oh, and just to add some spice, he beat Nadal more times than he lost to him, and the same with Federer. He leads both rivalries. So you tell me, what are we even debating? If we're just talking trophies, weeks, wins, this conversation is over. But here's where it gets tricky, because tennis isn't just about numbers. It's about moments. It's about emotion. Federer gave people goosebumps. Nadal made people cry. They were characters in a fairy tale. And Djokovic, he entered that fairy tale and flipped the script. See, Novak didn't fit the narrative. By the time he showed up, the tennis world had already picked sides. You were either Team Roger or Team Rafa, grace versus grit, poetry versus passion. Then here comes this guy from Serbia, not part of the club, not from a tennis dynasty country, no elegant strokes, no Hollywood charm, just relentless intensity and an almost robotic ability to win. And slowly, he started beating everyone. At first, people laughed at him. I mean, remember the jokes about his injuries, the impressions he used to do, the drama? Then people got nervous because suddenly he wasn't the side character anymore. He was breaking records, ruining fairy tales, and taking center stage. And the backlash? Oh, it came hard. Let's talk about a few big moments. The 2020 US Open. Djokovic gets defaulted for accidentally hitting a line judge with a ball. Not out of rage, just frustration. Was it fair? Technically, yes, but the tone of the coverage, cold, ruthless. Like, people were waiting for him to mess up. Then came Australia 2022. He arrives with a medical exemption during the pandemic and ends up deported. The media ate it up, the government turned it political, and Djokovic, he became a lightning rod in a global controversy. It wasn't just about tennis anymore. People began projecting their opinions onto him about health, rules, arrogance, power, and even when he won again, crowds still wassoed. Wimbledon 2024. He calls out the fans for pretending to cheer his opponent. Rune as a disguise to boo him. And the way he said it, you could hear the hurt behind the bravado. Djokovic was never just playing tennis, he was always battling something more. The media, the fans, the story he wasn't allowed to belong in. So let's really ask it, why is Djokovic not embraced the same way? Some of it's about style. Federer glides, Nadal fights, Djokovic calculates. His movement is perfect, but not poetic. His returns are insane, but not flashy. He wins with tactics and discipline, like not with one iconic shot. And for fans, that matters. People don't just want to respect greatness, like they want to feel it. Federer made people fall in love with the idea of tennis. Nadal made people believe in heart and grit. Djokovic, he made people feel conflicted because how do you root against a guy who's clearly the best but doesn't give you the same aesthetic payoff? Now add in the cultural gap, let's be real. Federer is from Switzerland, Nadal from Spain, Djokovic is from Serbia, a country that's not often shown in the most favorable light in Western media, and he's never had the media machine behind him. No Nike fairy tale commercials, no glowing interviews, just Novak and a lot of resistance. And that's huge because perception builds legacy. Federer's losses felt noble, Nadal's losses felt heroic, Djokovic's wins, sometimes they just felt inconvenient. For a lot of fans, Djokovic didn't fit the fantasy, so instead of rewriting it, they just refused to flip the script. Here's where I get real with you. I didn't always like Djokovic, honestly. There were times I rooted against him. He didn't give me the same feeling Federer did or the same goosebumps Nadal did. But the more I watched, the more I saw what this guy had to deal with, the more I started to respect the hell out of him. He wasn't the favorite. He wasn't the media darling. He wasn't adored by the crowd. He was booed, mocked, doubted, and he still won. Over and over again. And not just winning, dominating in their house, on their surface, in their prime. That's harder than being loved. That's real greatness. You know when it really hit me? The 2024 Olympic gold. He finally gets it and breaks down, crying like a man who's been carrying the weight of the world. It wasn't just a win, it was a release from the noise, the hate, the constant questioning. That moment, that was the GOAT moment, because to me, being the greatest, that isn't just about stats. It's about surviving. And Djokovic, he survived everything. So here we are. The stats say it, the trophies say it, the head-to-heads scream it. Novak Djokovic is, by the numbers, the greatest male tennis player of all time, but that question still lingers. Will he ever be loved the same way? Maybe not. Maybe some fans will always see Federer's elegance or Nadal's fire as the real GOAT energy. And you know what? That's okay. Because greatness isn't a popularity contest. It's not a vote. It's earned in silence, on the road, on the baseline, on the days when nobody's cheering. Djokovic might not be your favorite. He might not be the fairy tale, but he's the truth. And sometimes the truth makes people uncomfortable. So now I want to hear from you. Is Novak Djokovic the GOAT in your eyes? Or does greatness mean something more than numbers? Drop your take in the comments. Let's settle this. Because this isn't just about one man's legacy. It's about how we define greatness in sports and what we're willing to accept when history doesn't go the way we wanted.